friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I would love to have you hit subscribe and click that bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. And today I have a pretty fabulous new stamp set to share with you from Kat Scrappiness. And this one is called Rainbow Bridge Sentiments. Here you can see you get the rainbow bridge, you get the little angel dog and a little angel cat. There's a halo, a paw print with a heart, 3 little hearts, the word love with a paw print and a heart for the O, and then you get some pretty fantastic sentiments. You can see that you get the bridge and it's got the boards going lengthwise, so you can actually do this in your, color this in your favorite rainbow colors. And you can create sympathy cards for your friends and loved ones who've lost their beloved pets. So I want to start today. I was thinking that I really want to make a card that has a little, like, I want to create this little rainbow bridge scene inside a little window on the card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my paper. So I've got one sheet of cardstock here. This is my white cardstock. And I want to cut this so that I have a landscape card. So I'm going to cut my paper at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to take one piece and cut it in half at 4 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and score the other sheet at 4 1/4. So I'll put this down here. Let me grab my bone folder. So I do love the Teflon bone folders. I've been using a Teflon bone folder for a while now. Okay, I'm scoring this at 4 1/4. And I really like the results that I get. I always get a nice fold. It doesn't have any wrinkles or anything like that. I like the tapered end of the bone folder to actually give it a nice score along the edge there, just like that. And you get a nice professional looking fold. So I really like that. So I'm going to take one of these pieces and I'm going to create my scene. So I'll pull out my mini Misty here. So I've got my little mini Misty, and I like this size. I tend to pull this one out the most, but it is not the most versatile one. So if you're looking to get a Misty, I recommend getting the original size that looks like this. I still have stamps in there. Just because there are more techniques that you can do with that. But if you're looking for an affordable option that you'll pull out all the time, it's definitely this mini Misty for me. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this down into the corner. And I am going to stick this down with some temporary adhesive. I actually don't find the magnets work all that well for me, so I'm just using some temporary adhesive, and I'm really tucking it into the corner, and I'm making sure my mat is tucked into the corner. Then I want to create a little scene in the center of this card. I'm just going to start with the rainbow bridge, just like this. And I think I'm going to do the two pets in a way that I'll fussy cut them out, and that way I will have this card ready and I can have the cat and the dog all ready to go in case I need them. And I can figure out which one I need at the time. So this is a brand new stamp set for me. So I am going to pull out this is my high polymer eraser. It's just a Pentel eraser I got in the office supply part of the grocery store, or the pharmacy has them usually too, at least in my neck of the woods the pharmacy has them. So I just run it over the whole stamp, and I'm going to keep it out because I will use one of the sentiments on this card as well, along with the dog and the cat. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in my favorite black ink, which is my Color Hive black ink. Okay, and this is from Maker Forte. It is a dye ink. It works great for Copic markers, although I don't think I'm going to use Copic markers today. I think I want to do a really simple watercoloring technique. There we go. Perfect. And I can go ahead and start using my Copics with this right away. Now, I said I want to use a watercoloring technique, and I said this was dye ink. And I know that with this dye ink, if I use watercoloring technique with it, that I have to be very careful not to touch the black ink with the water. So I will be very careful about that, but I don't want this to be an in-your-face rainbow. I want this to be kind of a subtle rainbow, and I feel like actually doing it with a watercoloring technique will work really well for that. So I'm going to start with, I'm just putting that back. So I'm going to start here with, I'm going to put this down with my glass mat is magnetic, so I'm using a magnet to hold it in place, and I want to start with some, let me think what colors I want to use. So I'm thinking that I want to use my Maker Forte. So I'm going to pull out some Maker Forte colors. So I'm going to start with my bubblegum pink. I've got a sprayer bottle, and I'm just going to smoosh my ink pad. This is bubblegum pink. I'm smooshing my ink pad. I'm pulling out a water brush that doesn't actually have any water in it, and I'm going to spritz some just plain water on my mat, and I'm going to pull my old grungy microfiber cloth in here so I can wipe it off, and I'm just picking up some of that watered down bubblegum ink, and I'm very gently going to just pull that color along there, trying not to touch the black. Now, I did touch the black a little bit. It's okay because it's pretty dry at this point. It dries so quickly. Like, I love that I can immediately start adding color with my Copics. And if you want to like not have to be too careful, then what you can do is you can re-stamp this a second time with some clear embossing powder. So that will prevent that from happening. So I've got that, and it is running a little bit. Like, I can see it's spreading a tiny bit. So I'm going to pull out my red. This is my favorite Maker Forte red. It's Telephone Box. I'm going to give the red a couple spritzes, and then I'm going to pull this down the second stripe. So that's a little bit darker and more obviously red. And I'm going to clean up my little red pile, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do my red Leicester orange. And all right, so now I'll clean that up, and I'm going to put this aside to let it dry while I work on the rest of my card. So you can see that right there. Okay, so I'll put that aside, clean up my table here, clean up my brush. I don't even think I've ever put water in this one. I have many that I do use the water. I just love using my ink pads because it really lets me create the look that I'm going for. Alright, so I need another piece of white paper. I'll put this in my Misty. And I'll pull out the two dogs, or excuse me, the dog and the cat. And I definitely want, I like this. There's so many in here. So very sorry for your loss of your faithful friend, for the loss of your faithful friend. Forever in our hearts, forever. Our faithful friends leave paw prints on our hearts. I think I like that one. I'm going to create my sentiment here. And of course there are all the lovely little ones. And I would just like to see what this one looks like. Actually, I'll cut these out with my brother's scan and cut and see what happens. See if it'll cut around that love. Alright, so I'm tucking this into the corner in case I have to go over it a second time. But my ink pad is brand new. I've conditioned my stamps and give them a good push. Not too much of a good push. I don't want to smush them. Ooh, beautiful. Those came out beautiful. Okay, I'm going to clean these off, and I just spritz them with water. It's a dye-based ink. I don't need a special cleaner. Water works great. Alright, I'm going to go to my brother's scan and cut these out. So I've got these really nice A2 size frame dies from Kat Scrappiness, and I'm going to take this middle one here and I'm going to sort of center it. My picture is not quite as centered as I would like it to be, so I'm going to actually put it down a little toward the bottom like this, and I'm going to just add a piece of tape or two. This is the Spellbinder's Best Ever Craft Tape, and I'm going to put it toward the center because this is going to cut out the whole center and it's going to give me a frame. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to open this up so it doesn't cut out the back of my card, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. This is my card base now. I can take this and I'm going to attach it to the inside of my card base. Okay, so I'll do that. And before I do that though, I do want to add some more color to my card. I do want to add a little bit of sky and grass. So I'm going to take these and my Kat Scrappiness blender brushes. I've got a couple of these little blender brushes, and one is blue and one is green. So I'm going to take the blue one and I'm just going to add some sky very lightly. I just want to give it a little bit of color above the bridge and around the bridge. And I don't want it to be blended perfectly because the sky has clouds. So by not blending it perfectly, it will actually look like the real sky. And I'll try to put some blue in between the banisters here, around the edge. I'll go up as far as I need to, just get a little bit of that darkness off, and I am trying to keep it light. Okay, just like that. It doesn't have to look good, because it will look good when you get that frame on and you get your whole scene completed. It will look just fine. Okay, I'm going to trim a tiny bit off each side. used 3 sides. I'm going to take my glue tube and just add a few dots of glue. Now at this point, if you wanted to make this a shaker card, this is where you could do that, because there's some beautiful coordinating shaker bits that go along with this. There we go, just like that. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some of these foam strips on the back, tuck it in, just like that. So you've got a nice little frame for your scene, and then you can pick the animal that you want to add. I'll just put the extra foam strips here on the back. And just tuck that little critter in there. I created the love and our faithful friends. I think I like this one. So I will add a little bit of glue to the back of this one. I've got these little paw prints. There are black and white paw prints, and then there are colorful paw prints. So you can choose, and there are bones. And I want the black and white ones. They're cute. And that's going to complete my card. Now you could actually cut your frame out of something with more color if you wanted to, but I kind of like to have the color on my Sympathy cards to be a little bit subtle. And that's going to complete my card. Now on the inside of the card, I trimmed this down a little bit, so I will probably take to finish this off, I'll take another piece, cut down the same size as the front, and cover up that back. And I'm also going to add a sentiment on the inside of this, and I can write my message, and that will be a very lovely card to give to someone. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll put all the links to these Kat Scrappiness and Maker Forte products below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.